Okay, moving on to the second part of our critique. Going to go ahead and start off with Ashley. You did package it correctly. We've worked on this project back and forth for a while, so I doubt that you will have many technical issues. Alright, so let's check it out. You have your bleed in your document. That looks great. Your image, PSD, CMYK, 300, perfect. I'll do one more. TIFF file. Okay, yeah, it's still RGB. So you have a TIFF file in here. It's high resolution, but it's still it's still showing up as RGB. So all of your TIFF files, it look like, are just the wrong color format. So you need to go in there and fix them up to be CMYK instead of RGB. All right. As far as layout, let's go ahead and check up your PDF. Looks like all your marks are there. That pink looks better. Looks really good. Yeah, really nice job on your type management, and those drop shadows and stuff look really good now. Okay, so just some minor things with just the images being the wrong format as far as color. Okay, thank you. Okay, Brian, your package is correct. Oof, okay. I haven't really seen anything on this, so let's just get to it. Looks like your document is set up correctly, but you want to make sure that your image goes to the red bleed line, not just to the trim line. As far as technical stuff, JPEG is fine, but it is RGB and it should be CMYK. PNG file, RGB, same problem. I'll just assume they're all wrong. Just double check on this page. Yep, same problem. It looks like a couple of your stuff might actually be web images on this page, because I can see that your PPI is only 72, but it looks like you're using them small enough that you might not have a printing issue there. So your biggest problem there would be color formatting. Let's go ahead and check out the design here. How do I'm not sure where to start on it. Let's start with the logo itself. It seems like you have clashing styles. You either kind of want to have like a super hardcore magazine about gaming, and then you would have like Call of Duty and special ops games and stuff like that. But then you have like this hokey kind of typography thing going on, and like the vibe of your magazine is kind of like Nickelodeon, with the font and everything that you chose. So you almost have to pick your battles with where you want to go. Right now your vibe of your imagery is not the same vibe as the logo or anything that you created. So if you want to keep something like the kitty kind of logo-ish type thing that's going on here, I would stick to your visuals being more like Sims or like a younger audience, because that's the vibe that the rest of the layout is giving. Especially with like your color combinations, definitely like a younger target audience versus like a higher end adult magazine. All right, contents page, visuals are okay, but again, it's kind of giving mixed messages. This is why we probably should have done something besides just critique. All right. Moving on, let's go ahead and get to Candace. Your package is correct. Thank you for that. All right, so let's go ahead. It looks like your document is set up correctly. That looks way better. I know you had like this symmetrical thing that was kind of going on with the two skaters. The vibe is a little bit better for sure. So let's go ahead and check out your images. I think your layers are probably locked, so let me just unlock them just so I can dissect them. PSD file, CMYK 300. CMYK. Okay, so from technical perspective, doing well. Let's just take a look at your design work. Yeah, I think the vibe fits better now. Like you have just enough kind of like motion on the text that it's not just looking like straight up paragraph text, and you don't have so many effects now that that it's like overkill. So this looks much better. Religious go. So even though it's not all flushed right, the typography choices and things that you have here are definitely working a lot better. You probably could flush it right if you wanted everything to maybe just kind of meet up like right here or something versus having like the jagged edge. And your spacing and everything is really nice there. Contents page. I would drop the drop shadow from the contents. It's just a lot, especially with the blue on the white. You don't really need it as far as contrast goes. Let's see, the font being bigger looks good, and really kind of nice use of type management there. If anything, you could use more images if you wanted to. You know, you could stack one under here, and even kind of if you wanted to do like one that's kind of inverted, so maybe just maybe move your whole layout inside of the image if you wanted to have like the 40 in white in the indoor and outdoor in white, and it would kind of allow some other room for text if you needed it. But overall, much better design aesthetic than I know we were kind of working with before. Thank you very much. All right, one. Okay, as I stated in the first video, needs to all be in one InDesign file, not in two. I don't even know what's up with this naming convention. Super professional. So let's go ahead and go to cover page. It looks exactly the same as the last time I saw it. Let's get to it. Your bleed line is there, but your image, your main red background image isn't going to the bleed line, so you'll want to fix that for it to print correctly. All these PNG files are going to be RGB instead of CMYK, so you want to fix that. And it looks like the PPI might be okay as far as the quality, but it needs to be CMYK. A PNG file will not come in ever as a CMYK file, so you could also bring this in as a PSD file, which is just a Photoshop file, and then you will also be able to have the color format be correct. So let's just assume everything in the other document is wrong and move on to your design. Again, I saw this last week. It was exactly the same. So just go back to the feedback I gave you then. It's exactly the same. Yeah, I have a photographic memory for artwork, so you have a lot to do. Let's move on. Keon, awesome job. I know we had talked after illustration design. Your package is correct. Let's see, your document is set up correct and your bleed. I think I checked your, I don't remember checking your images. So I'll just check a few of them just for some good measure. Okay. JPEG file. Okay, so JPEG's fine. RGB, it should be CMYK, but your PPI is fine. Let's check this one. It's a JPEG file, that's fine, and you want it to, again, to be CMYK. So kind of I'm just going to assume all the rest of them are wrong as well. If you are struggling with it being staggered like this, you could go in and do File, document setup and turn off facing pages, and then it'll flow a little bit easier for you. Okay, so let's look at your PDF for your design portion of it. Yeah, the little green line made a huge difference for me in just looking just different. You need something. We talked about it just not being actual text. So that little green line with your World of Cannabis kind of helps. Again, it looks really high end and upscale, so I don't think you'd have any issues getting this through Portfolio. You might want to consider a slight drop shadow on the Cooking and Cocktails font, or even if you want to try using it in a white or a light gray, just because it's a little difficult on that background. This page has a lot going on. Definitely struggling a little bit with this page. What you could consider is making this main image maybe like 50% of the size, having the page number just be large and kind of tucked up in it, and I mean, if you have to use a white box to have the text be readable, I would do that. Over here it gets a little bit congested. You want each of the sections to be, let's just say we loved how this one looked. If you like how this vibe is, you would want it to match on every single article just for it to be consistent. So for example, the flush-centered text with the bold font and then the page number 2, you would mirror this exact look for the rest of your images. Alright, so just definitely needs some help with organization there. Okay, I'm going to pause and do the last of everyone else's in the last video.